Ahoy hoy, and welcome to the channel. I'm Doctor Cimmerian, not a real doctor, and today we are going to go over a collection of memes from the r/DankMemesFromSite19 subreddit, as compiled by Yossi Posse, with full credits for each and links to each of the memes will be in a paste bin at the bottom of the description, I believe. Yes. Let's get started. SCP-682. So when do the termination tests end? That's the neat part. They don't. It has always bugged me a little bit that SCP-682 is like, they're constantly, the SCP Foundation at the very least, is constantly trying to destroy it. Which really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. First of all, they're doing a really bad job of it. And second, because if you look at the actual object containment procedures and description, it seems like it should be pretty simple, but somehow it's not. I think that a fun interpretation of SCP-682 might even be the idea that like it inspires other people to want to kill it. Anyway, it's the only real way to explain how the SCP Foundation suddenly turns into the GOC. Speaking of, the Foundation doesn't kill anomalies. Do I look like the Foundation? I do wonder at, like, what's the positive of destroying anomalies? Because, I mean, if you knew that there was a limited supply of anomalies, then destroying anomalies seems like it would make sense. But if there isn't, then then the SCP Foundations, this is the difference between the GOC, right? Their viewpoints of the world. So if you know that anomalies are going to continue to happen, you need to understand them better. They need to be no longer magic. They need to be, it's like if ghosts existed, then, and if ghosts could really lower or raise the temperature of a room, then there's science behind it, and you could use ghosts to power things if you got enough of them together, right? So understanding anomalies and magic and so on makes it easier for you to deal with them one way or the other. The GOC is just like, fuck it, shoot them in the head. But that doesn't help you understand them, and more are coming. Anyway, that's my big... but then, the GOC's got some modern interpretations. Is he reading her a bedtime story? Fuck that, Apocalypse canceled. I mean, it still is my favorite version of the Scarlet King, because the Scarlet King is not all that ominous or scary. I don't understand people's obsession with it. Like, as written, he's quite an impotent power, for lack of a better way to put it. He just sits back, lets other people do his stuff for him, and never shows up. He had, back in the olden days, this is the Scarlet King. Back in the olden days, people knew how to respect me, and I did what I wanted to. I ruled the universe, and I destroyed all the ancient elder gods, and then I decided to take a nap because I was tired. I mean, anyway. Scranton Reality Anchors, Reality Benders. I believe the title of this one was, Scranton Reality Anchors. How do they work? Well, it just works. Really, the jokes aside, memes aside, Scranton Reality Anchors they work however you want them to in the story. They can be machines, they could be people, brains in a jar, whatever you want them to be, as long as they stop reality benders, which is, people with warping powers, from working, because it's a function of the story, right? Reality as we know it is one thing, and that is an avenue for its own stories. Then reality with people who can alter it at will is its own avenue for stories. And then as an offshoot of that, reality with people who can manipulate reality to their will, who are stopped by something else, is an additional avenue for stories, and you keep going. It's an arms race of sorts, but story-wise. And at some point, there will be the ultra reality benders who can beat Scranton Reality anchors. In fact, SCP-2343, the one I wrote, which is it's sort of a spiritual rewrite of 343. Because I hate 343, but I do like the idea of creating a god as an SCP. But SCP-2343 is an example of that because he is so powerful. He's essentially, or at least purports to be, the creator god of the universe. And he is so powerful that the reality anchors can't quite keep him in check. But yeah, when the SCP Foundation decides to actually neutralize something. A lot of GOC stuff going on today. 05 Council. So let's bring in an expert here. GOC. That's me. Oh man, but I don't know. In that particular scene, isn't Loki treated more like a little brother than an actual expert on anything? In the end, that's what the GOC is. Anyway, it's the SCP Foundation's little brother. Yeah. Al Gore is an alien puppet. Wake up, sheeple. Parawatch user Mr. Sen. Wake up, sheeple. I assume this must be referencing a specific story. But the idea that Al Gore is an alien puppet always... there's an SCP. I think it was 4444, maybe? I think it's Bush v. Gore. I could be wrong. It's another Cactus article. But I always liked it because the idea is, as much as I like Al Gore in general, and I wasn't old enough to vote for Gore in 2000, but I was old enough to vote in 2004 for Kerry when he went up against Bush. But I would have voted for Gore had I the opportunity. Not that it matters. I live in a state that's always going to go Republican, probably for the next 50 or 200 years. But I would have voted for Gore, and I like Gore. But the important point is that Al Gore is weird and charismaless. That's the weirdest thing about post-Clinton politicians from the Democratic Party, is that all the people at the top of the ticket were like the least charismatic people that you could find. Anyway, I mean, from the Hillary Clinton and from Al Gore, they are just just not likable people. I like them, but I can also observe them and be like, they're not really that likable to most people. I don't know why I went on a anyway. 8900X was ahead of its series. Sure, Grandma, let's get you to bed. That's the one where color shows up, right? Or yeah. See, I only kept this one in because when I want to say 5 years old, I had watched The Wizard of Oz, and that movie starts in black and white and moves to Technicolor when they get to Oz. And my 5-year-old brain made a logical leap, especially not just from Wizard of Oz. That's like the one thing that sticks in my mind about this, but also from a variety of other sources where you see black and white photos and black and white video, film, we'll call it, not video. Videos, it is video, but and then you see that as things progressed on, there was color all of a sudden, and I thought that color was invented around 1940, that it didn't exist before then, and that someone invented it, and now everything was in color. Not just, when I say invented, I don't mean on film, I mean in the world. So 8900X, which is a somewhat similar concept, always entertained me. Let's just say that much. Oh, right. This is 411 Escape. How do I look now? Right? It's you could take this in progression. Actually, there's no beard, stubble, and then like the beginnings of a beard, which is, this is 2 weeks in, I think. Yeah, this is 2 weeks on, and then the full homeless beard, What's the yeah, I look different for depending on my face because my actual hair has no gray hair in it. I mean, I think there's starting to be a little bit where the beard meets the hair, like right around here. But if I shave high enough, there's still no gray in my actual hair. So growing a full beard makes me look like I'm like 45 or 50, and getting rid of it completely makes me look like I would say early 30s, or at least my age, which is mid 30s. Maybe even some people said I looked like I was in my early 20s, but I think that's a little flattering, to be honest with you, because if you look real close, he still looks kind of old. Yeah, I mean, to me anyway, but I know better. I know me a little bit better. I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, I look old. I feel old. But yeah, I mean, sometimes the beard goes away. I don't. When it gets that bad, I tend to get rid of it because it's just, and then I get pimples underneath the beard, which is a problem. And it's just easier to get rid of it. It would be easier actually if I shaved every day, but I'm super lazy, so I don't. Is that the last one already? Dang. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and my ramblings about various topics relating to the memes in the video, hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell next to that so you're notified when I upload new videos. And then head on over to patreon.com/DCimmerian and pledge at any level like everybody here on the screen already has. I lost a few of my biggest Patreon backers over the last month or so, and it's been a bit of a squeeze, but I'm making it work. Still working, by the way, on that animated series, but don't tell anyone. It's nice to know that I'm not alone out here. And I will see you all again on Thursday.